and this is Micheal W Ford. This is the third part of what began as demonology in the 1st century AD, pantheon and system of magic. As I've explained, with the demonology of working within Luciferianism, you have an opportunity to utilize the specific power and tap into the power of force, which gives form to that archetype symbol, or deific mask, as I call it. In Luciferianism, there's some basic things to consider if you're new to Luciferianism, and if you really want to get into the self-initiation process. First, I would like to suggest that you take Dragon with Two Flames, beginning Luciferian magic, and adversarial light magic of the Nephilim, along with the Bible of the Adversary. Take those, read them, and it's not just about the rituals. You don't want to jump into doing specific rituals without understanding the full scope of what your goal is as an initiate. The ideology in Luciferianism is the main foundation, which, if you don't fully invest into your life, it will have, the effect will be lessened. What I mean by that is, the way you think now coming into Luciferianism may be similar, which attracted you to Luciferianism, but there are some key differences which I've spent years gaining insight and presenting anew in the current foundations that we have of Luciferian ideology. And that is really the self-directed, self-centered, in the sense that you are the only God that is, and there's a meaning behind that, is that you're going to be skeptical and reject everything you were kind of raised with from society and the conditioning. And we have to keep in mind that our minds operate in a way that we have to identify meaning to everything. So certain things will always have meaning placed to them. In Luciferianism, you're starting with, there's a universe, there's energy, because Luciferianism goes hand in hand with science. And my spiritual perceptions, I'm going to limit those and focus entirely on them. So I have to focus on my own spirituality, or what that can be, and how it works for me. So, to avoid confusion, take beginning Luciferian magic, and there's specific goals and purpose involved in the discipline process, in building and strengthening the will. Firstly is, you're going to understand the ideology and the basic symbols. We're not talking about go through every book and try to adapt to it. You don't even have to research to the extent that the books have presented. Start with the simplistic initial starts. Dragon and Two Flames offers history and etymology and what words mean and where those came from, how they have power. Bible of the Adversary has specific laws and magical practice for those who are adapted to left-hand path initiation. Adversarial light magic of the Nephilim offers symbolism and a step-by-step process into the magical current. Beginning Luciferian magic has all the practices and the symbols accordingly. And you'll take a ritual, like a casting of a circle ritual from any of those books, and for a period of time, a month, 2 months, whatever's comfortable for you, you need to practice it either daily or consistently, and write down, keep a journal. Towards the end of this process, you will find it either really empowering or really boring. And if you're finding it boring, then your will has grown weak and you're not investing belief in it. You're going through the steps. You have to invest belief. When you enter your magical chamber, your circle, you invest belief in that, quote, fantasy. Because all of those symbols have meaning. you give them power. So whatever you put the most weight to is what's going to manifest for you. Circle casting rituals are about building and kind of ensorcelling or encircling energy related to your magical will and your development. So that's why you do those for a period of time. Self-initiation rituals, look through those, find one or two that you can work through and keep records. The point is to build discipline in your will. There are some basic symbols in Luciferianism which I'm going to present to you, such as Azazel, Cain, Baphomet, and Beelzebub, and all of those, and how they're perceived in magic. So it's very important as a magician and as a Luciferian that you take the ideology and then you begin the practice. Even if you're not a member of the Order of Phosphorus, just interested in it. If you're a long-time practitioner of Thelema or you're a Satanist and you want to find out what Luciferianism offers, well, these are the steps that you have to invest to know. If you dabble in it, and if you don't get the key insight points that I'm putting in these grimoires that I've gained, then you'll miss it completely, and you'll be off to another thing. This can be your development of the temple of mind, body, and spirit, a living God, and the beholder of the deific mask. So let's go forward with the Luciferian symbolism. Azazel, Cain, Baphomet, which, let me explain, is the Luciferian witchcraft, Cainite witchcraft, cunning sort of initiation, which I studied and undertook many years ago. This particular avenue depicts the image of the sabbatic goat, but the sabbatic goat bears the head or the face of a kind of a alchemical union of Samael, Lilith, and Leviathan. Really, it's Azazel embodied, and it's the face of Azazel as Lucifer, with the inverted pentagram in the forehead. The torch depicts a ascending crescent moon for emotion, yet also mastery and power of the instincts and emotions. The torch is the black flame. The black flame, obviously, is the sort of divine consciousness, the demonic aspect of the self, relating to the daemon or personal God or true will. You see the twin serpents, just as the traditional Baphomet, and the twin serpents represent kind of the two flames, and dragon the two flames is passion and also instinctual emotional knowledge. Also represented as another, particularly the Utukdana, as Asi Dahaka, the three-headed dragon. The symbols on the wings of the Cain, Azazel, Baphomet show the sun, shows Saturn, and it shows the seven-pointed star. The names, there are two key names of the Watchers from the Book of Enoch, Azazel and Shemyaza, and those are really the foundations for the Luciferian witchcraft tradition. In Luciferian ritual, every ceremony performed has an intent and purpose. Some Luciferians utilize the triangle of evocation as a way of encircling and kind of sort of compelling and controlling specific types of energy. And this can go from basic evocation to charging a sigil, a talisman in the center of it, to attempting to manifest something into physical shape, which is demonic manifestation, and also to, after invoking or evoking within that triangle and that circle, entering it, moving over it, and spiritually devouring whatever is within that. Now, traditional evocation triangles, such as in the Goetia, shows the name of Micheal as the force protecting the sorcerer as they invoke whatever to control it. Well, Luciferians, and what I found out early on in my evocations, and going through some of the darkest ones you could possibly really imagine, and pushing that to the beyond the limits, is that I won't evoke something that's going to be at one and particularly a part of myself after I invoke it within, and be abusive or use a Christian system to control it. I reject the Judeo-Christian structure and system, so I spit on it, and when I invoke, as you see here with this triangle in Luciferianism, it's AZAZEL as the force compelling. So it's a force of will and respect of what we are calling, even if it's perceived as a spirit or a type of energy power that's giving it that form.